Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Inner Space Family and a very warm welcome to all our online viewers. Is anybody know this evening's theme? Yes, very interesting topic this evening. Grace, yes, rhyming with grace. Very deep and very interesting topic. And for that, we have our lovely speaker Jayany with us today. Jayany, she is a mathematician and a part-time qualified accountant. So she's really good with the numbers. Who begins a spiritual journey with Brahma Kumaris in 2011. So she's been over practicing. So this evening we'll have depth of wealth and experience in the spirituality. Also, she practicing Raja Yoga meditation has helped her develop greater peace, clarity, and purpose in life. Most of her spiritual journey, she was based in Southall Centre, and she helped there, and where she enjoys sharing spiritual insight and supporting others on their journey of transformations. So please join me in.
Shanti. A warm welcome to each one of you, and thank you for coming. So, today's topic is climbing with grace. And I was thinking about this topic because in each one of our lives, we have many journeys and many climbing that we do. For example, we have a lot of responsibilities, we have a lot of relationships, we have a lot of challenges in our life. It could also be a habit. So there's many things that we climb as we move along in our journey. And I was thinking, so how do we move along in this journey? Are we climbing with a struggle or are we climbing with lightness? That's something that I was reflecting on. And then a thought came to me. When we win a lottery, how do we feel? We feel very excited, we feel very enthusiastic, and then we start jumping in joy. Then we become very intoxicated. And then what happens? We start thinking about, oh, what can I do? And then every moment in your life, you're just filled with happiness and joy, and you're enjoying it. Then I was thinking, we have those feelings when we win a lottery, but why do we not have those feelings when we're going through just our normal day-to-day life with just with our relationships, with our work, with just taking care of like family, you have elderly parents, or even little children, when you have responsibilities, why is it that our feeling changes? Why is it that we can't have that same feeling? So something that I would like to reflect on. So where in my life am I climbing right now? So shall we have like 30 seconds just reflecting on where in my life I am climbing right now? So it could be work pressure, it could be family responsibilities, it could be inner healing, it could be like emotional fatigue, it could be self-doubt, or a transition in your life. So just something to reflect on. Now, I want you to hold that awareness. So this is the mountain that you are climbing. So wherever you just had in your awareness now, that is the mountain that you are climbing. So now we're going to learn about how to climb that mountain with grace. So, so how would you define grace? Any ideas? So grace is more like the soul's natural beauty when it becomes quiet. So especially when the ego becomes quiet, when you let go of the ego, how do you feel? So, so for example, um, so in a village there was a mountain, and on top of the mountain there was this golden rock, and it's shining and it's beaming, and all these people in the village, they're trying to climb up the mountain, trying to get that rock, but because the mountain is quite steep, they're not able to. Like they go up and then halfway through they give up and then they come back because the mountain's quite steep. And then one day there were three travelers and they were traveling. And then one traveler had a heavy backpack. So he was like, he had the consciousness, oh, I'm going to go and get that golden rock. I can do this. He started comparing himself. He started saying, oh, I'm going to win. I'm going to show how good I am. And he was thinking, oh, I'm so much better than these villagers. And he had his backpack of achievements, his trophies, and he was admiring them. And he was walking really fast, thinking, oh, I'm going to walk as fast as I can and get that golden rock. And then, so he was rushing, he was running. And then while he was going up, he felt tired because he had used up all his energy. And then he started thinking, why am I not able to do this? And then he gave up. Then there was a second traveler. So he was traveling, but then he had fear in his mind. Oh, the mountain is very steep. Can I do this? What are others going to think if I'm not able to go up? And then he had a lot of self-doubt. And then he was thinking, am I even able to do this? I can't do this. And then he gave up. Then there was this third traveler. And the third traveler had a lot of humility. And he was very honest with himself. And he had a lot of courage. So because he had humility and courage, he didn't have the intention of going up at a fast speed. He wanted to enjoy every single moment while he was climbing. And while he was enjoying the view, while he was climbing, his steps didn't feel like he was going up a very steep hill. He was enjoying every single step. And even though it took him time, he enjoyed the process and he eventually got the golden sparrow. So this shows that when you quieten the ego, you are basically bringing out the soul's beauty of grace. And if you think about it, when do we have ego? When we have a bit of arrogance, oh, I can do this, I can achieve this. And ego is loud when we climb with a lot of effort, when we have conflict, when we have comparison, and then also when there's resistance and fear. So that's when ego starts to develop. But we can quieten the ego if we start to climb with a lot of clarity. And when we have lightness in ourselves. And then there's also wisdom, so understanding the climb as well, so understanding the situation. And also when your mind has calmed down, so when you don't have too many thoughts in yourself, and that's when you also start to develop power. inner power. So when you keep yourself light internally, then your intentions also become clean, because then you start reflecting on yourself. And when I was thinking about this, it just reminded me of a trip that I went a few months ago. So there was a group of us going to Snowdonia, and we climbed the Snowdon mountain. And everyone was saying it's only 7.25 kilometers. Now, 7.25 kilometers, if it was just a flat path, we can complete that in 1.5 hours. But we didn't realize how steep the mountain was. And we all started in one group, and there was a wide range of people. So we had few elderly people, we had a family with children, and then there was also the youth. And while we were climbing, we realized how steep it was. So we took every step. But there was this one particular group who wanted to go ahead, who wanted to race and go all the way to the top. I mean, do I really need to run after them? Do I really need to harm myself in the sense of using my legs too much just so that I can climb the top of the mountain? And then I was just reflecting on who I really am. I'm a soul. I'm a point of light. And the more I was reflecting that, my mind became more peaceful. And I've started becoming more peaceful. And then I felt like I was becoming more energized. I felt the body was becoming more energized as well. So I sat for 10 minutes just reflecting on who I am. And was there a need for me to go up at a fast speed? And then after 10 minutes, I felt so much peace and joy. And I looked around me and I saw the scenery. Here I was thinking I wanted to go right to the top of the mountain when there's all the scenery around me where I could have enjoyed while going up. So then what I decided to do was just walk slowly with that energy of being a point of light. And when I did that, I enjoyed the scenery around me, and I took my steps were slower than before, but at least I enjoyed my journey. And eventually I did get to the top, not feeling tired, but I was full of joy and happiness, thinking the view is beautiful. And yeah, so that's also a story where you're climbing up, but at the beginning, because I had that um, arrogance of, oh, I want to go to the top, I lost out on enjoying the moment. And after realizing that halfway through, the rest half of my journey, I was enjoying the moment, and I realized how much peace and happiness it gave me. So, in the same way, we all go through many journeys where we climb, but then what is our consciousness? Are we going with the consciousness of, I have to finish this climb, or are we going with the consciousness of, let me enjoy this climb, let the best happen? And are we going with a positive mindset, or are we going with a mindset of, do I have to do this? Oh no, I have to face this, or I really don't want to do this. So it's all got to do with our mindset, because now we all have busy lives, and if we don't create the right mindset, then we become so tired. Sometimes we just wake up in the morning, and then, oh, what do we think about? We think about, oh, what task I have to do. I have to do this, I have to do that. But are we actually enjoying the moment? Are we actually going inside, reflecting on who you really are? You are that energy of peace, of happiness, of love. The more you reflect on this, the more you start enjoying your journey, even with your relationships. For example, if you have to take care of elderly people, are you having the consciousness that I am that energy and I'm taking care of that care of them with that energy. Because then when you create the right energy, right thought, then any duty that you carry out doesn't feel heavy and you enjoy the climb. So, um, so I would like to do a reflection exercise. So I would like you to think of a situation where you lost your peace. So did you react? Did you feel heavy? And did you struggle internally? So what were you holding at that moment? So the situation where you lost your peace, what were you holding at that moment? Was there expectation? Was there fear? A desire to control? Was there attachment? The need to be right? A hurt from the past? So was there impatience, or were you waiting for approval? So when you have these feelings, you tend to lose your peace. So let's talk more about being light. So how do you make the soul light? So instead of having expectations, how can we become light? So the heaviest backpack when you climb is actually being emotional, right? So it's more about reflecting on who you really are. Instead of being emotional to any situations, how about reflecting on who you really are, not being more, going more inside yourself and not allowing anything around you to affect you. The more you go inside and realize who you are, then you become light. And so, and lightness also comes when you consciously release what you don't need. Because sometimes we have expectations. Oh, why didn't this person do this? Oh, and like, this happened at work when it shouldn't have. So when you let go of all of that, you will start to feel light. And then there's also steadiness. So grace is found not in rushing, but in consistency. So returning to that peaceful state again and again. So there was a monk, and what happened was this monk had a teacher. So every day to go and see that teacher, he would rush up, and he was excited to see that teacher. But because he would always run to see that teacher, one day what happened was he was running, and there was this gardener watching him. And while he was running, he tripped on a rock. And then a gardener came to him, asking him, "Why are you running?" And then he was saying, "Oh, I'm excited to see my teacher. I want to be with my teacher." And then the gardener said, "But while you were running, you were rushing, you felt pain. You tripped over that rock." And then the gardener advised him just to walk steadily up the mountain. You don't have to walk in a rush. You don't have to walk in a hurry. And then he started reflecting on himself, thinking, why am I rushing? Why am I harming myself? And then he started walking very slowly, enjoying every moment. And then when he went there, he met his teacher. And then the teacher said that you didn't just climb up, you also when you also grew up within, you started developing that inner clarity within yourself, and you started having that steadiness within yourself. So grace develops when you have lightness within whatever climb you take and also steadiness. And there's also a lot of challenges that we go through to have that climb. So, for example, with people, so relationships can be like mountains, and some people can lift us up, some people can drain us, and some people may emerge that old mindset, and then sometimes, yeah, these can be challenging. So graceful climbing means it's all about how I respond, not reacting, and how I understand and not judge the situation. And it's also looking at the soul, not their role, not identifying them as, oh, this is who they are. It's more about identifying that they're that energy as well. They're all souls. And then it's also when, for example, if you do come across a situation where you're climbing and then, for example, if someone is blaming you, it's about remaining light and not being defensive. So, um, another challenge we could come across is a change in our life, right? So sometimes when a change happens, we feel like there's a loss. And then so when you overcome that change with grace, you feel like there's growth. So, and then there's also challenge within ourselves. On a daily life, we go through so many emotions, but we don't realize it ourselves. So the steepest climb is the climb within. Sometimes we have old habits, we have patterns and old thoughts, and then because we start emerging those old thoughts and old habits, then our climb becomes much steeper than it should. So when I keep myself light internally and when my intentions are clean, so not only do you feel like you're moving with that lightness, you also feel like you get the support of someone higher. You feel like you get this extra energy. So I remember a moment when I was studying at university, and every single time when I had exams, I would stress and I would throw tantrums at home. And then my parents used to always worry about me because I wasn't sure why I was stressing. It was just this energy that was created in me when I just had that thought. When I started thinking about exams, and then I started thinking about, oh, what if I don't pass? Or what if, what is my family going to think? Or what are my friends going to think? And then what's going to happen to me? Am I going to retake that year? So all these thoughts start coming to me whenever I have exams. And then there was this one particular year where I was going to sit my exam. So I sat my first exam, and then there was a day left until my second exam. And then I went through so I finished my first exam, and then I was going through my notes to study for my second exam. I was well prepared, but then because I had finished a different topic and I'm going to start another topic, I was going through my notes, and because I wasn't remembering it automatically, I started stressing, thinking, oh no, it's not coming to my mind. Because usually when you're well prepared, you expect it to like remember everything. But then I wasn't. And then I was this close to getting stressed. And then I changed my consciousness. I was thinking, what was the need for me to stress? What will I get out of it? And if I stressed, whatever I study for the next exam, I will just forget. most of it. I won't be able to remember it. And then I will go with an energy where I feel so tired, so weak. And then I stopped myself and I started thinking, I don't need to go through this. It doesn't matter what people are going to think. It doesn't matter what's going to happen if I don't do well. I just need to do my best in the moment. So then I remembered who I was. Then I remembered that, and then I felt this energy come to me because when I remembered who I was, I remembered that my father is also a point of light. And the more I remembered that, I felt like my thoughts were becoming lighter and lighter. And then I was able to focus on my work. I was able to concentrate. And I was able to, while I was concentrating, I didn't think about, oh, I only have this many hours for my next exam. I just was focused in the moment. And the more I was focused, the more I was able to concentrate and get as much as I can done, get a lot of revision done. And in fact, I got a lot of revision done way ahead of my exam. So it's all about creating the thought that will save you from feeling drained, from save you from having that negative energy where even like doing one task may make you feel tired. Even doing, when you're not having that right consciousness, um, it, when you don't have that right consciousness, the journey just feels tired. Mm. Does anyone have any questions? So, yeah, I just like to reflect on grace. So we were talking about climbing, and so climbing with grace. Just like to say that it's all about. So what I've experienced is all about having that lightness in your mind. So when you when you climb with grace, there's no resistance. So having the right consciousness, do I have to create a particular thought that I'm used to, or can I create? Can I change my consciousness? Change it in a way where I'm thinking very positive, and then yes. So it also means doing whatever is difficult with a lot of lightness. So having the right consciousness again, that you are this energy and you don't need to create unnecessary thoughts. Whatever situations you come across, why am I creating a thought or why am I questioning it? So if you get rid of those questions and just focus on what needs to be done in a positive way, in a peaceful way, then that journey won't seem hard. Um, yeah, grace also means something high, something where you're being lifted by something higher than your own effort. So sometimes you feel like when you let go of the ego and you have the right consciousness, you get this extra support. Mm, um, so shall we do a bit of meditation? Oh, there's
Question is that you spoke about climbing with grace, dissolving ego, but sometimes it's very hard to recognize the difference between ego and self-respect. So how do you really distinguish?
So I would say ego is more about having the consciousness of I and thinking. So you're just being more selfish, if that makes sense. While self respect, like, say, for example, oh, I want to do this or I want to be better than others, then that I would say that is ego. But if you have self respect, saying, I want to climb this mountain, and I also want to be a role model for others, but also help them in their journey, then that I wouldn't say that's ego. It's more of self respect because you're also benefiting yourself, but you're also there to help others. Does anyone have any other question?
Sometimes when people are striving, climbing a mountain, trying to get to something, to achieve something, if because of their daily lives are so busy, so hectic, sometimes people can even struggle to think clearly about how to achieve their goal. Is there some way of thinking that you can help yourself to stay focused and have a good energy to achieve things that you need to achieve?
Yeah. So what I think is the best thing to do is you have that goal, but then I would say be more in the present. So be more focused in the present and then creating the right consciousness in the present. So not having the thought, oh, I need to do that, or when am I going to get to that point, or when am I going to achieve that goal? But just taking a deep breath and thinking, what am I doing now in the present? Am I having the right consciousness of am I enjoying the present moment? Because the more you enjoy the present moment, then your journey to reach that goal will then be successful and you'll feel a lot lighter than heavy, feeling heavy. Does anyone have any other?
Yeah.
I have questions about while you're climbing the mountain, some people might not like you. The way the higher you go, so how can you deal with that with grace?
Okay. So when you are climbing, of course, you will come across people that can be jealous of you and just showing a negative emotion towards you. So the way I would deal with that is just protect yourself. So don't let whatever they're thinking, don't let that bother you, but you start creating the right consciousness. So protect yourself in creating the right consciousness for yourself. So the more positive you think about yourself, then you start radiating that positive energy towards them. And then the more you radiate that positive energy towards them, then eventually they their jealousy or their negative anger could will go. And what I realized is even though they may be jealous or angry or have some negative feeling towards you, but if you protect yourself in a way that you're not affected, but creating that energy towards yourself where you have that self-respect. And then once you have done that, when you start helping them, then you will see their mindset also change. Yeah. Yeah. But you have to have the right consciousness for yourself. So creating that energy for you so that you don't get affected, but you're there um, to help them. Okay. Should we do about, are there any more questions? Should we do about 15 minutes of meditation? So, should we all sit quietly and comfortably? So sitting quietly, allowing the body to be comfortable and relaxed. I go inwards. I am a point of light. I am energy. With the awareness being a point of light, I let go. I let go of the responsibilities. I let go of burdens. I let go of any thoughts that is obstructing me from continuing my journey. I become light. I become peaceful while I experience peace and inner joy develop. All thoughts disappear and I am in that peaceful state. While being in that peaceful state, start to appreciate myself. I realize I am a special soul. Whilst realizing how special I am, I become filled with happiness. Stay in that consciousness of being happy whilst I'm happy. The energy of happiness. I feel my whole body, feel the energy of happiness. I become energized. Whilst I continue to remain happy, the inner feeling of joy develops, and I continue to spread that vibration of joy throughout me. I spread that vibration to those around me. I reflect on my day's journey. I reflect on the people I come across in my journey. And I spread vibrations of peace and joy while spreading vibrations of peace and joy. I see that our relationship becomes lighter. We continue to move along while having that inner light and peace within ourselves. And as we move with a lot of joy, happiness. I start to reflect on the situations that I come across. Every journey that I take becomes lighter. It doesn't feel like it's a mountain that I'm climbing. It doesn't feel like it's a steep mountain. pathway becomes very flat, and I become filled with a lot of easiness. Whilst walking, I become easygoing. Whilst being filled with a lot of easiness, I feel energetic. I, I walk the path feeling light and energetic. Whilst I'm walking, I feel inner joy, ready to climb the next journey. Hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you, Jayany, for the wonderful talk, and I will take some Thanksgiving before we close up this month. Everybody hear me? Next week, same time, same place. Is way up of faith and so way wrap up of faith and fulfillment. As a special event in our Christmas do, as well as its last event of this year. So we will you know that our everyday, so every Sunday morning meditation, which is reflective meditations, seven, seven, which is and in line with these evenings. So once again, so is it 9 or 21st of this month? Well, sorry, what time did you say? 7 to
Right.
5 to 7.